Has humanity lost touch with itself? Do you see humans but no humanity? In what ways do we know who we are supposed to be? Can our world desensitize us at times? Are we aware as to how the world is affecting us? Have we lost touch with our natural world? Do we have a direction or purpose within our lives? Are we able to live our lives? Do we know what to create and how to create? These questions, among many others, speaks as to our own journey, which only we can take for ourselves. Books can only be mere guides, but nature remains and only you can know yourself the best. In Sapientia Naturae, the Guidebook, you will be able to understand the relationship between yourself and the world around you at any given time or place. For self-care, self-help, this knowledge applies universally, and no topic is off limits. With this guidebook, you teach yourself. This is the foundation for Naturosophy. The philosophy of nature is based on the Socratic method, for you to be your own philosopher. This is the curriculum for all of life, for both teachers and students. We are all to learn and teach each other, starting with ourselves. If you want to assist healing, make the world a better place, or become a leader, the process of self-inquiry through understanding natures will allow you to achieve anything. The question remains, are you willing? Do you care? Warning, this curriculum may cause individuals to question everything. A lot has gone on in my life and has happened within my life, and as with you, there's a lot of experience that we have to go through and experiences that we have learned from already for our future experiences. But what if there was a way to study everything, every experience, and through the lens of philosophy, looking at you being your own philosopher? And to say that people cannot be their own philosopher is an understatement. It, in fact, degrades the individual in their thinking capabilities because everyone has the ability to think for themselves and especially have their own unique worldview upon this world. I am not to impose my worldview on you. I am to help you maybe form your own away from the systems of control that want to thwart you toward their systems of thinking. And so I created my own philosophy called Naturosophy. And yes, I released a new book. I just came back from shoveling snow and I found this big boy waiting for me, Sapientia Naturae, the Guidebook. This one is by far the biggest book that I have produced publicly for you guys, and it is a curriculum, basically all questions for individuals to do their own internal thinking as well as to share it in a classroom or in a setting with groups. Okay, so you can do a lot with this material. There is questions, and then there's tests, and then there is reading material. There's everything in here necessary for a curriculum. And, you know, there are guidelines as to how you can partake in that curriculum. So it's a guidebook, and I want people to check this out. You know, I made a special binder for it. I think it's really cool. There's Lex, Rex, Laws, King, Dux, Libro, the guidebook, my initials, CEE. Okay, and of course the back, Nature is the answer. My main message is nature is the answer, and my main message you might see across, I don't know, 800 videos on my channel or whatever, and it might come across as confusing or too in detail at times, but the reason why I make books is because I can put it all in one format. I'm not here to sell you this book like I did with the other books and have a fancy intro necessarily, although I like to do that. I want to share with you the fact that if you want an all-in-one resource, this is going to be your best bet. Like, if you wanted to know basically my worldview on everything, this is your best bet. And again, I'm not really speaking to you because it's all questions. You can think for yourself and come up with your own conclusions. These questions, of course, come from my own perspective, however, so it's still limited to a man-made material talking about the natural world. You have to understand those implications. But it even makes those disclaimers clear itself. Because the natural world is for us all to discover together, not one person or one ideology is limited to it. the reason why I made Naturosophy to begin with was because I was sort of heartbroken with the current philosophy, or modern day philosophy, and where it has led people toward the path of no meaning, no purpose, no value, and undermining the authority of nature. And so I start with that basis, that foundation of what if nature is valuable? Is it valuable? Where do you find that value? And you can relate that to The End of All Evil book by Jeremy Locke, where he says, every being has infinite value. But essentially, it's the idea that everybody in their nature has the ability to live their best life if they want to, and it's just a matter of seeking that out. You can seek out knowledge. There is no reason why an individual cannot be their own philosopher. And when people usually talk about philosophy, they're talking about older philosophers. They're talking about people who come up with their own theories already for you to just read up on their material. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help you be your own philosopher, and I'm going to keep stressing that because, this book, the guidebook, is based on this book, okay, the Sapientia Naturae, the original, and then I have this one, which is Nature's Radical Honesty, which is a very short, application of it. There's one more book part of this series, but generally speaking, the guidebook has everything in it. So if you want basically all my videos in a nutshell, and will ever be, this is the book to get. And I don't want to sell it to you, I'm just being blatantly honest, that's what it is. Because if you were to inspect nature and learn how to learn from nature, or learn how to think for yourself, that's what this is in a nutshell. Or at least that is the hope, that is the aim, the goal. You have it within your nature to learn, you don't need the book to do that. The book will help you, like I said, escape those chambers, those blockades from you getting to that, and helping you see past the illusion so you can think more for yourself. And there are questions you may not pick up on unless you read the book. Just as there might have been research out there you would have never figured out if it weren't for you finding this information or having this life experience or asking this question, and it leads you down another path. What if you have it all laid out for you? I'm not saying that you can know everything, but is the goal to know everything or to seek out everything in general and then come to know more and more of it over time so you know what to act over time, right? By having more knowledge, you have more knowledge to know how to act and therefore know what world you are creating as a resultant condition. And that means if you want a better world, a free world, a happy world, a healthy world, then you need to pay attention to nature and what is natural. People talk about morality. I deduce it down to nature and what is natural and unnatural. I don't see a lot of people doing this necessarily, but this is, to me, and what I see evidently, and you can find out for yourself, is the roots to everything, okay? And I don't like to make statements of this is the only solution, this is the only route, but if there was to be any delineation or any division, it would ultimately always come down to the unnatural and natural. Even if you said it was between government and people who think freely, if you think it was between the healthy or the unhealthy or the moral or the immoral, it still all deduces down to the natural and the unnatural. And in case you disagree with me, in case you say, hey, nature's not the answer, even though I'm saying it's the knowledge of nature that's the answer, it's the philosophy of nature that's the answer, if you disagree with me, that's okay. But at least I have the questions for you, the curriculum, so you can study for yourself and find out for yourself, is there value in nature? And that's why we study it. This is why we want to live. This is why we want to breathe, why we want to be healthy, why we want to do what's right. And a lot of people may not want to do those things because they don't see the value in it. They haven't attained that value from it. And they don't know how to go about in their direction, their path or purpose in life. And they don't even know what that is at the end of the day until somebody commits suicide or they destroy their own nature. Or they destroy the nature of others because they're so insecure of themselves. It's their only source of happiness. This world has grown confused, and navigating through that confusion is a matter of questions. I have 3 quotes that begin this book, and they're very important quotes to me, which I technically consider some of the foundations of Naturosophy. Let the questions be the curriculum. There is only one good knowledge and one evil ignorance, and to know is to know that you know nothing. It's not to say you can't know anything. It's not to say you can know everything. It's to know that knowledge itself is valuable. And it's an ever pursuit that we help each other with. We can't dictate over others. We can't say they have to do this or have to do that. We have to help each other in this life. We have to give each other faith and direction so we can heal ourselves to begin with, out of the disease, out of the illness, out of the bad mentalities, the bad behaviors. This is all the process of introspection. So that's why I make books, and through the way of asking questions, even as a teacher can, they are engaging the students in asking questions on their own behalf. So no matter what, it comes down to that introspection, because if you want to learn from nature, you can learn from yourself. The best thing you know is yourself. It is the only true home that you live in, other than nature. Thank you very much for watching. Check it out, Sapientia Naturae, the Guidebook. I intend for my books to become more popular over time because our society and our world will face many problems that, in particular of technology and the idea of governments, that this will go into and will address to its fullest extent, getting down to the roots of what's actually going on. And so it is the roots because it's talking about nature. Thank you for watching. You can find the book on Amazon, and that's the main supplier for this book. This is self-published, completely independently. I use Amazon KDP. I create a video tutorial in case you want to publish your own book. It's totally free. Amazon gets involved either way, one way or another, but I've used it for several of my books now, and it works well. You have a lot more freedom as to what you want to do, as opposed to having a publishing company do it for you instead. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you check it out if you're interested. Bear in mind, it's on the Socratic method, so there's a lot of questions in the book. And if you're okay with that, and you want to have a full diagnosis of everything, it's the book for you. Thank you.